right, everyone. We're going to get started here. I know everybody's probably on a time crunch. And so we wanted to get started. A couple things to note. There is a raise hand feature of this webinar that if you at any time get disconnected or some issues that you do have happen during the call, go ahead and hit that button on the webinar and then type your question. We will try to get it answered. This webinar is being recorded, so both the audio and the video of this webinar will be recorded and available on demand after this is completed. We will send a link out of the YouTube video that we upload, and then also we will make sure this PowerPoint is available as well on our support site. So if you do want to reference it at a later date, you can. Questions, we'll keep it towards the end. We'll keep it to open forum. It could be about Citrix, or it could be anything that you have a question about or have any issues about, and we can try to get to you. So with that being said, thank you for joining our first webinar, and Andrew will start his presentation.
Thank you, Mohammed. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm glad to finally get to this point, so let's get started here. So Citrix tips and tricks. My name is Andrew Turnipseed. I just recently started with Interwest here end of January, and I've been very fortunate to be working here. I met some of you, I've talked to some of you over the phone, and I've enjoyed everybody to this point. So I want to say thank you to all of you in advance, and let's get moving here. So the benefits of Citrix, there's several things going on here. So one of the great things is that it's a centralized computing. So instead of us having to go out and buy a license for, say, 150 people, we can buy licensing and resources for one single server and have everybody kind of share that and log in at the same time. Which goes to the next one, is shared resources. So instead of having to install it 150 times or having to troubleshoot 150 machines, we can do everything from one place in one centralized location, and everybody can share it, and we'll all have the tools that we need to succeed and do our jobs better. It's accessible from anywhere, so you can do this from home. I know I've talked to many of you who have done this from home. You can do it from Starbucks. You can do it from vacation on the by the beach. Wherever you are that you need to access your work information or work resources, it's right there for you. And it makes our life easier too. As an IT staff, we can administer and manage it much better than we would if 150 different machines rather than one centralized location. So we're going to start off with the basics of just installing the Citrix Receiver. Now this is, I've gotten many calls from people who needed help installing this, didn't know where to start, and so this will be something, if it's not already installed on your computer or you're going to use another machine, say your home machine, laptop, desktop, whatever it is. So this is kind of a brief overview on how to get it installed there. So first things first is what you want to do is you want to install the receiver. So there's two different ways to get to it. So you can either go to this link at support.interwestgrp.com, which is where you go to put in tickets, ticket requests. There's a couple different little good resources there to help everybody out and to for you guys to get the IT help that you need. There's a link there that'll take you right to a page that looks just like this, where you can go click on this download receiver for Windows. Also, if you wanted to get fancy, you can go to this receiver.citrix.com, and it'll take you to the exact same place. So once you're at this page and you click on this download receiver 4.7 for Windows, you can click on that, and then depending on what browser you're using, so for Internet Explorer, at the bottom of your web page, it'll show, do you want to run citrixreceiver.exe? And then you can hit the run button to install it there. Or if you're using Chrome, it pops up a little icon like this, where you can you click on this, and then the installation begins. So what you typically see is this open file security warning. Is that Windows is a very good way of making sure that you are really sure you want to do something. So it's ask you, do you want to run this file? And we can say yes, that's okay. The one thing that can pop up in here when you're installing this is, especially if it's an Interwest device, it may need administrator credentials to do so. So that's where you can call us, and you call us and say, hey, I need to install this receiver. Can you hop on our computer and put an administrator password in there for you? And then we can go from there. So once that starts, it comes up with this welcome to Citrix Receiver. So this installation is probably one of the easiest you'll ever find. Some of them have, you got to pick different options and different settings to choose along the way, but this is actually pretty straightforward. We can just click start and next the whole way. So we click start, and then it comes up with the license agreement. Now, we always just say, I accept this license agreement because it won't let you go any further. Nobody's ever read these. It could have the cure for cancer in here somewhere. We have no idea. So we click accept, we hit install, and then the process starts going. You'll probably see a little box with a progress bar go along. And then at the end, it'll say Citrix Receiver installation successful. And then you can click finish. You're all done. So and that usually typically, the only problems that I've ever seen pop up from this is the rights issue. Sometimes it'll be a corrupt download file. At that point, if it doesn't work, feel free to call us. Get on the phone. We're always here. We're always here to answer calls and help you guys out. So now once we logged in, so there's a few different methods of using Citrix. So I think we're all familiar with this screen right here. So let me get my screen up here. So we're all familiar with this login screen here. And people have seen it every day for however long you've been here, and if any other jobs you've worked at, it just looks awful familiar to everybody. So what we're going to do is we're just going to log right in. So we all know our usernames and passwords. And that's going to take us so that we can go straight to this skip to logon. And now here's our main screen. So this is how we kind of get to all the different applications and desktops that we have. So part of the different methods to use, so this is called our application view. So this is where you can go in and access each individual application you use. So I think I can say with some 100% certainty that everybody uses this Microsoft Outlook 2010 to get your emails. And everybody uses the Windows Explorer to find network resources and to get to anything that they want or need on the network, and anything that you'll share are shared files for plan reviews or any other documents that we may need to use. Let's do this. Oops. Also, there is the desktop view, which is, it'll show you. This basically replicates what you would see if you were sitting at a computer here in the office. Desktop view is very helpful if you don't want to open up each individual application. You only want to open up one session to do everything you need to do, because once you click on this desktop, it shows everything that you have installed, everything you have access to. So with either method of using Citrix and logging in, when you click on each icon or application, the first thing that'll pop up, depending on which browser you're using, will be this launch.ica file. Now, it comes up every time. It asks us all the time whether or not we're really sure. There's that Windows thing that they want us to be really sure that we want to do this. So it's going to pop up a little file down at the bottom in Chrome that's going to look like this, with the little blue window icon and launch.ica. Then in Internet Explorer, it'll show this do you want to open or save launch.ica. So we can click on this to move forward, or we can click on open in Internet Explorer, and it'll start to launch the application or the desktop, whichever you're choosing to use. And as many of you all are probably very familiar with, you see this little desktop or this little progress bar start up, and you got to sit there and wait for it to fully load before you can start doing anything. So once it's all done, this is, you see on this picture on the right here, this is kind of an example of the Citrix desktop. So I have my applications and all the files that I'm going to use in here, so I can get into the back end of Citrix and make changes there and do what I need to do for there. And then everybody else is, you'll see Outlook and you'll see the folders, the network folders, the S drives, and everything else. You also have access to kind of your local folders that are on your desktop, your physical desktop, rather than this virtual desktop here. When you're ready to leave, so this is one thing that we would like to start getting in the habit of, and then I know I'm public enemy number one when this happens. There is a right way and a wrong way of getting out of your Citrix applications. So if you're using Citrix Desktop, one of the great things that we can do is, instead of having, it's not like a normal machine where we can go start and then just shut it down for the day, or start, go press the start button, excuse me, and then hit log off or restart or something like that. So what we need to do is, if we're working in this desktop environment, right before we're about to close out, I am very prone to always hit this X and get rid of it right away. Excuse me. But sometimes what happens with, and I know I've had phone calls with many of you and many other workers here, that when we hit this X, sometimes the Citrix doesn't want to let go. They're like, they don't want to let go of the session, and so we have to go in and clear it. Sometimes it takes longer than it should, and it's just kind of, it ends up being downtime for you guys. It's sitting there kind of twiddling your thumbs and waiting for it to show up. So what I'd like to do, and what it kind of forces the process and makes it easier and easier for you guys, and we'll let go of the session faster and more efficiently, is go to this little start button in the bottom left corner and hit log off. And it'll close it'll close this window automatically, and it'll kill your session off pretty quickly after that. Next. So, and even with the application, so when we're using the application mode, we just want to open up Outlook. So go right here and you click this guy once, and then you'll see that handy dandy taskbar. We're waiting for this to fill up our little progress bar, and then here goes your email right there. So sometimes, and one of the things that I've done very many times myself, and many others have too, is that when we get to the habit where if it doesn't pop up right away, we want to click it again because it hasn't shown up to us. But what can happen there is, if you start clicking this 2, 3, 4, 5 times, is that you'll have 2, 3, 4, 5 instances of Outlook set up on the server. And if a lot of people start doing that, then it starts to drag down a lot of the resources for all of us. So one thing I can always preach with Citrix is patience, and I know that you guys are all very, very good at that, and I need my work on it too. So once this is loaded up, click it once. If it doesn't show up within about a minute or two, then we can start to get concerned. Maybe hit it again. But if we're just randomly clicking 1, 2, 3, it's going to start opening up a lot of sessions, and it's just going to end up bogging a lot of us down. Also, there's also a proper way of getting out of each of these applications when we're in them. So just as we went to the start button and went to our log off, we can also go to the file or organize or whatever tab it is to go to the exit. So with your Office products, Outlook, Excel, Word, you can go to this file tab in the top left corner and then find your exit button. With same thing with Internet Explorer, file and exit. And then so with the Windows Explorer, where you're looking at network folders and S drive and all that fun stuff, you have to go to this organize button in the top left and then find the close on the bottom. So it's just a little bit different than the other ones, but excuse me. It also goes a long way to It also goes a long way to helping save resources and close out your sessions, especially if you're having issues with Citrix, with locked up sessions. It goes a long way to kill those off correctly and properly in the fastest way possible. Accessing your local drive. So I've spoken to a few of you, and I'm sure you guys all know this, but you can access the folders that are on your local physical machine from Citrix. So, and the easiest way to do this is you got to go to Windows Explorer and launch the icon right there. Once that pops up, the security warning, which I see all the time, I know you guys probably see it all the time, this security warning pops up if we want to block, allow reading only, or permit all access. It is okay to hit permit all access. It's probably what you want. It is what you want to do to be able to not have any hiccups or anything hurting you when you're trying to go through your documents or files here. So you can hit that permit all access, and it should pop up the Windows Explorer screen here. So what you want to look for when you go in here is that you want to find on the left-hand side, you find the computer icon. So it's going to list all these disks here. Now, it's not everybody has this many. There's ones for GIS and ones for IT and Wildemar. It's got so many little things here and there. So the one you're going to want to look for is called local disk C, and it's going to say it's on. And this is your computer name. So mine's MB Pro, MB7 Pro Andrew. So what I'll do is I'll open this up, and once I hit, I'll double click that, and it shows everything that's on that local C drive for my physical machine. Excuse me. So what I would suggest to do if you're working on something on your local machine, the physical machine, and you want to pass it through to Citrix, is to go into your C drive and create a new folder and call it Citrix Pass-Through. You can name it whatever you want, as long as you know which folder to go through, because to go find My Documents or your desktop is 5 different places, 5 different folders, and it would make life easier for you guys to just have a centralized folder where you can move back and forth. You can also save stuff to your H drive, which is your home drive. Everybody should have one of these. If you don't and you need one, please put in a ticket with us. Give us a call so we can get that set up for you. So this is just, it's a personal drive for you guys to use. You can load stuff in there. You should have access to this in your Citrix Windows Explorer, and we can set it up on the local resources too, which, excuse me, we can set it up locally too, for you to access stuff from your physical machine, or it's another pass-through folder to pass through from your physical to the Citrix environment. It's really helpful. You can put plenty of stuff in there and have it be able to access it, because with Citrix we can access it anywhere. You can get it. You can get that from anywhere. One big question, and I know that I've spoken to several of you about this, and this is something that we all have experienced, is that we need to always remember to save our work and save it often. I've had conversations, and people have come to me saying, my Citrix session bogged out on me, and I don't know what happened, but I didn't save my work. I hope it's still there. I know that with every instance, we've been able to get it back, most of the work, because, you spend 3 hours working on something, all of a sudden the power goes out, or your Citrix session goes wonky, and then we start to get in a panic, and oh my gosh, I didn't save anything, I didn't know what to do. So always kind of take time, maybe every 30 minutes, 45 minutes to an hour, to just hit that little save button on the top left to save yourself a lot of grief, and to save us a lot of grief too. So always remember to save your work. Changing your password in Citrix. So there's a couple different ways we can do this. So we have our password policy for Interwest is we're changing it every 90 days, which is a good idea for many reasons to change our passwords. We don't want anybody to get our passwords and start sending out malicious emails or cat videos to everybody. So we've got to change these every 90 days, and it's 6 characters. You got to have a capital letter and a number in there. There's so many different ways we can, different ways and combinations. We're going to get into that in a little bit here too. The 2 different ways to change your password, there's the password manager, which is in that Citrix applications, on that first page when you log in to Citrix. I'll show you guys. It's that similar, that icon right there. And you can see it right here. So what happens is, you click on that, and then click on that, and this little password change box comes up, and then you put in your old password, and then you punch in your new password twice. and hit OK. And if it complies with the policy, it'll say, thank you very much for changing your password, and have a great night. There's another method you can do it if you are in Citrix Desktop. You can go open up a Citrix Desktop icon. Let's see if I can get an example here for you. So if we go launch Citrix Desktop for here, you can go to, it's just like your regular desktop view. So you can see, you have a start menu, and it has, control panel and all that fun stuff. So if you hit this little start button and go to Windows Security, it'll pop up a screen that says, ask you if we want to lock this computer, if we want to log off, if we want to start the task manager. But this is the guy we want right here, which is pretty self-explanatory, is change a password. And that same set of options will come up. It'll say, what's your old password? What do you want your new password to be? Are you sure you want your new password to be this? So they want you to put it in twice, and then you can hit the little arrow button, and you're all set. Let's see if that popped up for me. No, it didn't. It's fine. So helpful hints with passwords. I know that I myself struggle with trying to come up with a new password every single time, especially if it's something we have to make unique. It can't be your name and two. We don't want to make this any easier for people or someone to get your password and use it in a malicious manner. So the easiest way I found to have a good password, a method of making your new passwords, is to have kind of a word, a static word, a number, and a color. So if, say today my password is going to be mosquito71 gray. And then in 90 days when I got to change it again, I can say, okay, it's going to be mosquito 25 orange, and so on and so forth. So like some of the examples I got here, mosquito 71 gray, Wolverine. I like, if anybody's called me and asked me for a password, you've probably gotten Batman or Superman from me, because those are two of my favorite superheroes. So we can do Wolverine, or like Muhammad's favorite band is Wham. So he's going to do Wham ! 81 orange. And the more complex you make your password, the better. And the easiest way to do that is to add words and numbers and even special characters such as exclamation points, @ signs, pound signs, all that fun stuff. Printing in Citrix. Now, my fellow ITs can agree, and everybody I've ever talked to about this will agree as well, is that the number one number one call we get to help desk is about printing in Citrix. I can't find, trying to print out a document, so my printers aren't there, and it's frustrating for all of us. I'll tell you that. I know that everybody else is frustrated with it too. It happens all the time, but do not fear, because this is actually one of the easiest issues to fix. And all you got to do is just take a little patience. So when you get that document, when you have the document that won't print, and you go there and it shows saved to PDF, or it's PDF writer or something that doesn't show that. So the first thing you want to do is you want to go out and close out of all your applications or desktops that you're working in, and make sure that you close them out properly and shut them down from there. You want to get out of everything that's Citrix related, and even go as far as to logging out of the Citrix website and closing out of Chrome or Internet Explorer, what you do. So back to preaching patience. One of the things, you got to wait a few minutes for your sessions to fully die out, and this to pass the time. I always say, let's do what the internet was intended for and watch cat videos, or dog videos, or even videos of babies biting their brother's fingers off. Not in a bad way. It's cute. Everybody knows about Charlie and biting his finger. So once this happened, you're going to open up your browser again, and you're going to log back into Citrix. The first thing you want to do is click on this Citrix Printer Config. So click on that icon. You're going to get your standard progress bar and loading screen. That's going to pop right up. And then what you're going to see is a list of printers that you want. Now, you're going to see if you have a Ricoh machine, it's going to be there. All the printers that you normally print to that are set up on your local machine, your physical machine, should pop through here. So what you want to see under the status section is either auto-created or auto-retained. So before you log into anything else, if you click on the Citrix printer icon and this box pops up, what you want to see is auto-created and auto-retained, or auto-retained, and that means your printer should be connected back to Citrix. Excuse me. So then you can go in, if we were ready to print something, that send to OneNote's gone, but now look, we have all our printers back. It just takes a little bit of patience, just because you need to close out, and you basically need to reconnect them again. All right, in review, so we learned how to install the Citrix client. We learned where to go and how, what possible things could pop up here and there. We learned how to, log into the Citrix environment. I know you guys all know how to do that, but it's always good to have a good refresher on it. We learned the different methods of using Citrix. There's application mode, there's desktop mode, properly exiting out, which is something we all need to work on, and I myself especially, going to the start button and log off, and they're going to file and exit for each different program. We also learned how to access your local drive. So if you needed to pass through something from your physical machine to your Citrix environment. And we also learned to preach patience with Citrix printing troubleshooting steps. It's pretty simple, straightforward. You are always welcome to give us a go yourself. But we are always here to help. Please feel free to call us at any time. I've spoken to you, and you guys know all of us. I'm pretty sure you guys know most of us already by now. You know the phone number to call for the help desk, and we'll sit there and answer the phone. And you can either put in a ticket or give us an email straight to itservices@interwestgrp.com. All right, that's all I had there. Let's see. So let me start to unmute everybody here.
Thanks, Andrew. So that's the end of our presentation, everyone. Andrew will unmute everybody. If you do have a question, or if you want to contact us outside of this, you can definitely do that as well. So we'll give a couple more minutes, and then see if there's anybody who has any particular questions that might be helpful to the group. Or if you have a specific question or issue relating to what you're doing, you can call us or email us, and we'll be able to help. One thing I do want to mention that our help desk is 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, and that's Pacific time. The other thing I want to mention is we are a 24/7 operation, because a lot of our clients are 24/7. So if you do email us, and if it's a dire need, we will try to get back to you as soon as possible after hours. If it's something that can wait till the next business day, we will try to contact you the next morning. And the last comment I have in regards to Citrix is the biggest proponent of Citrix is your internet connection. So if your internet connection is very slow, that will be a very good cause of your Citrix connection being slow, and you're not able to open applications. So if you do run into a problem where it's really slow and it's not working, usually if it's a Citrix issue, we will hear it from multiple people usually from different cities that are telling us, and we know it's a Citrix issue. But if it's usually one or two people that are telling us from a certain geographical area or an office, then we try to look at the internet connection to see if there's a slowdown there, because everything connects back to our data center in Sacramento. So with that being said, we'll open up for questions for another minute or two, and then we'll go from there. No one has any questions?
I see Alice has a hand raised. For 42 minutes. Oh, your arm's probably tired by now.
My phone was still on mute. I actually had it raised because I couldn't hear you, but then the sound finally came back on. I didn't realize it didn't.
No.
Okay.
Sorry.
It should be recorded, Alice. So if you did miss a little bit of it in the beginning, we will have it uploaded so that you can watch the video.
Okay, perfect. It was just like the first 10 minutes at my sound, it kept going out, so I couldn't, it was like the Charlie Brown teacher. Then it finally got clear. So thank you.
Okay, no problem. Okay, everyone else.
Can you hear me?
Yep. Yes,
Can you hear me?
Ready?
you can.
I have a, I guess when I try to access my check stub from payroll people, and I click on the print button because I want to print my check stub, as soon as I touch the print button, it puts a red X through it, and it doesn't allow me to print. And then if I do a print screen, it prints the screen and not the thing. But that's kind of unrelated to this. I just,
Okay.
I'll come over there and see what's going on.
Yeah, Andrew, if you could take a look at that. And then also, payroll people and time cards, those shortcuts can be set up outside of Citrix. So Andrew will show you how to do that as well.
and I did do that, but it still never won't allow me to print off that print screen or off that screen. But I'll contact him separately.
Yeah, I'll come find you, Randy.
All right. Any other questions for anybody else?
Thank you, guys.
All right. Oh, no problem. So we will go ahead and conclude the webinar. We will, again, upload the presentation as well as the full-on webinar itself online and then send it to everybody so they can watch it later on at their convenience. So thank you so much, everyone. Have a good Friday and happy Easter.
Thank you.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.